What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ballin' Out Plus. I'm your host, Braden Burke. And to my left, your right, my right, your left, we have the famous, that's not famous, but kind of could be famous. He's famous, ladies and gentlemen. It's Brad James.
What's up, buddy? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. We've got a good Thursday night game going on tomorrow. A decent few games in the old college slate, and I think some good matchups in the NFL coming up. I think we're going to start to see what some of these teams can do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good week. It's been kind of a slow. I think the first 2-3 weeks of football just been super slow. Like every team is trying to find their identity.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you haven't yet and you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that follow button, subscribe button. And so you never, ever, we haven't done that in a while. Ever miss a show. So you can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and now, you can follow us there at Ballin' Out Plus. And now, Brad, they can follow us where?
On the old Tick'em Tock'em.
Oh, the old Tick'em Tock'em. The Talk-a-Tick, the Tick-a-Talk. You can follow Brad at Ballin' Out Plus Brad. And you can follow me at Ballin' Out Braden. Forgot to put the plus in there when I did it, so I got to wait 30 days for it to change it. So, but it will be Ballin' Out Plus Braden as long as it's available. So, you can also email us info@ballinoutplus.com. You can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast, anywhere that you have service. What else? Oh, our website, ballinoutplus.com. You can check that out if you would like. But first, and I'm sure Brad would like to do this too. We want to give our thoughts and prayers out to all the families down in Florida going through that crazy hurricane that's going on down there right now. So stay safe. Hopefully everybody got evacuated like they're supposed to. I know quite a few people that did not leave Fort Myers. So, and they're just getting hammered right now. My mom actually was supposed to be there, supposed to leave on Sunday, this last Sunday, and was going to be down there for like a month. And the condo she was originally going to stay in is now completely underwater. So,
holy smokes.
Yeah. So she's an emotional wreck right now just because the people that she does know that lived right above where she was staying, they're still there. They hunkered down and they're trying to go through the storm, which more power to them. I hope they stay safe. So, but with that being said, let's hand it over to Brad. Best bets, Brad.
Yeah, another little bit of news. I'm sure you all in the sporting world have gotten an alert on your phone, but all rise for Aaron Judge. He gets his 61st home run, tying Roger Maris.
As of right now, no roids.
No roids at this point. So anybody watching the game, Yankees at Toronto, he hit a pretty nice line shot. I think it was a no doubter. It was just a piss missile, right over the bullpen in left field there. Unfortunately for a fan, it was just a little short of the first row of the bleachers. And he reached down, he thought he caught it, and he pulls his glove up and he missed it. So it fell down inside like what I would say between like the bullpen and the stands there. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah, that ball was going to be worth some coin, and
at least a jersey and a bat, some batting gloves, season tickets. We'll see.
But so yeah, congratulations to Judge. I know it was a little bit of a frustrating last few days for him. I think he had like 5 straight walks, just pitcher's just throwing around him. Didn't want to be the one to give up that dinger. But he did finally get it, and good for the sport of baseball. I don't remember the exact number of years, but I want to say it's been quite some time since that feat has happened. So
yeah. Well, a couple nights ago, he about hit one, but I mean, everybody thought it was gone, and then it just warning track.
Died.
The guy caught it. So
yeah. So
congrats to him, man, because that is tough to do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I hit like 57, back in high school. Left field was a little close though. That's why they made the fence super tall, because it was a short left field. But
a little short porch action.
Catch it on the right day in the country, it'll go.
Wind at your back. Oh man. So there's a lot of baseball going on right now. You got a lot of teams biting for playoff positions and everything else. But we're going to kind of just focus on football tonight. Probably get to focusing on baseball a little bit more once the playoff picture is completely laid out, kind of be able to break down the series and everything as that comes. But you're getting a lot of teams that right now are just kind of trying to coast into the playoffs and stay injury free. That's the big thing coming into this time of year. So speaking of football, man, I think we got a good one. Cooking up for tomorrow night. Manana. You got the Miami Dolphins traveling to Cincinnati, and what used to be the old Paul Brown Stadium, now the Paycor Stadium. It took me a little bit to get used to even being able to call it something other than the Paul Brown Stadium. So, so they are traveling there tomorrow night. Kickoff is 8:30, I want to say. 8:30 kickoff on Amazon Prime. So it will be shown on Amazon Prime again. You're getting a good matchup here. So you've got the Dolphins currently sitting at 3-0, 1-0 on the road, and then you've got the Bengals sitting at 1-2, and they're 0-1 at home. So Super Bowl runners up, struggling a little bit out the gate. I think the offensive line has caused some problems for Cincinnati. I'll be honest with you. I can't say that I'm surprised that this line is where it is. It's currently sitting at Cincinnati -4. Obviously, home team, you get 3 points typically in the NFL is kind of how that's done. So you figure 3 points for a home team. So they're saying on a neutral field that Cincinnati is a 1-point favorite over Miami. I don't think that's the case if there are no questions surrounding Tua's health. So I don't know where everything sits as far as the investigation going into his concussion protocol and everything that kind of happened on Sunday, calling a lower back injury, but looked a little weird to me. But I went ahead and I hit Miami money line on this.
Yes, sir.
Because I do feel like if Tua is announced that he is officially starting, that you will see this line flip from Cincinnati -4 to maybe even Cincinnati +1.5 or 2. So I feel like there's a good 6-point swing here just on Tua's injury, his looming injury questions. Now, that being said, you're looking at some stats going into this game. You've got the game opened at -4. It stayed at -4. Total opened at 47.5. It's down to 47. Cincy is getting most of the money. Again, my belief is the fact that, Tua has some health questions there, but they're getting 50% of the bets with 82% of the money. Currently trends right now, the Fins are 3-0 ATS, while Cincinnati's 1-2 ATS. So yeah, I will say, not only did I take them money line, but I also threw in a little 2-team teaser, give myself a little bit of extra juice. Yeah, sprinkle a little bit.
Yep.
So what I did, for anybody who's not familiar with teasers, if you're watching the show, I imagine you are. So if you are, I apologize for over explaining this. But for anybody who's not familiar with this term teaser, basically what I did is I took the Miami Dolphins +4, and I took the over of 47, and I teased those both. So now I teased them both 6 points. So now I have Miami +10, and I have the over, which when you tease the over, it forces it down. So I have the over of 41. Typically, primetime games this season are 7-3 to the under. But I do feel like there are some pretty poor defenses in this game. I think you're going to see quite a few points scored. The weather shouldn't be a huge factor. It's going to be in the 60s. Not a real windy day or anything like that. So I think you're going to see some good opportunities for the teams to air the ball out. I mean, you've got Jamar Chase, you've got Higgins, you've got Boyd, and then you've got on the flip side, you've got Waddle, you've got Tyreek Hill. So I mean, you've got a lot of offensive weapons for both of these quarterbacks to be able to throw the ball to. So that's kind of where I lean in this first game. Again, I did take Miami on the money line because I do think that they win outright at plus 170. But then I also laid a pretty good sizable bet on that 2-team teaser. And just so you guys know, the juice on that is only minus 120. So the juice is not bad for taking the Dolphins with getting 10 points there and then taking the over at 41. So
yep. I tailed you there, Brad.
Ooh, a little team ride action.
No big
I love
deal.
it. I love it.
Just tailing you. Sorry, and I was listening to everything you're saying. I was just pulling up the injury reports for the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Still a lot of questionable. Today's practice on the Miami side, tight end Carter, tight end Long, tackle Armstead, all did not participate. But the main guys that we were kind of worried about, obviously Tua and Waddle, they both were limited. So it's still questionable. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, Thursday's the big day. Thursday's the day that I start to, really worry about.
It's like, is it really that bad that you don't know already? I mean,
a lot of times teams play games.
I mean, I don't know. I always think it's kind of crazy. Like, oh, it's a game time decision. It's like bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
You're going to play.
So now if it's to the point where it's like he puts pressure on it and it hurts a lot when he puts pressure on it, but he's able to play. Okay. Good chance he probably won't.
Yeah. That's a Julio situation from last weekend. I mean, if you remember, like, Julio was a true game time decision. He went out there. He was cleared by the medical staff. He thought he could play. He went out there. They evaluated him in pregame warmups, and he just found he couldn't go. He couldn't give it a go. So I agree. I think the injury report, honestly, up until like Thursday is just a shit show. It's a crapshoot, man.
Just have to keep an eye, see what Schefter has to say, and Ian Rappaport, just kind of see what they have to, moving forward. But in other news, with everything going on down in Tampa with the hurricane and all that, they are moving the Chiefs Tampa game to Minnesota.
God.
To host the Chiefs and Bucks.
Jesus. What? I mean, listen, that stadium's beautiful. That stadium's absolutely gorgeous.
I know, but why Minnesota?
Well, and my thing is like, how shitty as a fan, you have tickets for that fucking game, and now you have to fly from Tampa. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a goddamn hurricane going on down there, so you don't really want to be there. But you're going from watching the game in Tampa to now flying up in Minnesota, where it's probably like 40 degrees, right? Yep. So again, game's gonna be indoors. It's all covered. Like, you don't have to worry about the weather inside, but still, it'll be interesting to see how they handle that, how the NFL handles that with the tickets and everything, because you can't expect people just to fly.
It's always interesting how they're gonna play that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, they logged me out.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That's honestly a game where, given the circumstances like that, I would completely steer clear of that game. You're uprooting, you're taking a home field away from Tampa. You're closer to Kansas City now, so it's almost like a home game for Kansas City. I don't know the exact drive, but I have to imagine it's less than probably 7 or 8 hours. So it's a lot easier for Chiefs fans to get there than it is for Buccaneers fans to get there. So
absolutely.
I probably would. I won't be touching that game with that information. It'll be fun to watch. That'll be two good teams to watch, but I won't be touching it. So
Going the over.
Yeah. And while we've been talking, the line, just so everybody knows, the line on the Bengals Dolphins game has dropped to 3.5 now. So they're starting to see some juice come in on, or some money come in on the Dolphins side, which is lowering that number to 3 in the hook. So, yeah. So speaking of the game, I think there's a few promos out there, Braden. You want
Yes,
to talk about
sir.
those?
Over on DraftKings, we got the Dolphins versus the Bengals. We have an early win by 7 promo through DraftKings right now. Go up at any point, 7 points. Okay, let me back up. Dolphins, Bengals, you pick the money line of who you want to win. At any point in time during that game, you go up a touchdown, you get paid immediately if your team is up by 7 points at any point in the game.
Yep.
The beauty of this is that the money line pick doesn't matter if they win or lose.
What?
All it matters is if you what? At any point in time, even if they lose. So they could be losing 3 quarters or go up 7 on the first drive, and bets you immediately get paid out. I've hit this twice now, and it is immediate. Like as soon as they score, obviously it takes a minute to populate, and then you get it. Yep. So, which is pretty cool. Now over on FanDuel, if this will let me, we have a no sweat same game parlay for Thursday night's game. Place a 3 or more leg same game parlay on a Thursday night football game. The Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals. The Dolphins versus the Bengals for tomorrow night's game, and get a refund and free bets up to whatever your max is. Some people have 10, some have 50. Brad, I think ours is like, I don't know, a couple thou, our max. We're high rollers.
Is that Monopoly money we're playing with?
Sorry, my eyes were going cross-eyed.
Right. Yeah.
I think.
Hey, you got to move the decimal to the left. You got to move the decimal to the left.
But yeah, get refunded and free bets if your wager loses. So no sweat off our back, or your back, listeners. So just make sure you go in, you opt in, you actually opt in. Don't just go same game parlay and just start throwing them together and be like, I just bet, whatever my max was, and they lost. So where's my money? Well, that's because you didn't opt in.
Correct. It's happened to all of us.
Yep. And then once you opt in, you'll scroll down a little bit. It'll say bet now. I thought on here, Brad, there was a spot where you had to actually click it or ticket, but I don't see it.
To opt in?
No, after you opt in, and then you go to place the bet.
No, once you opt in, you go and build the same game parlay, and then once you're done, you can go back and look at that no sweat bet, and it'll tell you that you fulfilled 100% of the obligations, which is just placing the bet. There are minimum odds requirements for this. I think the minimums has to be at least plus 400, something like that.
Yeah.
But as Braden said, I mean, listen, it is literally a no sweat bet. So I don't have anything built quite yet. Braden, I know you kind of had a couple of things you were eyeing. I don't know if you want to touch on those.
Yeah. So I definitely I'm looking at the Waddle, the Hill, and the Chase anytime touchdown right now. Ooh. Haven't really, I'm still kind of waiting to do anything else. Just until I'll probably wait till tomorrow. Before I make my final decision, just so we can see who's going to play, who's not. So it is something we got to wait on, because a lot of the Tua stuff still not showing.
Yeah. Do you try and build it to a certain value when you're doing these, or are you just like, if it comes out at plus 500 or if it comes out at plus 50,000, however you stack it, you're not trying to over push the book, I guess I would say, because obviously the longer the odds, the less likely it is to happen. But since it's a no sweat, I mean, are you like, well, Christ, I'm going to try and put, some big baller odds out there and, turn my, 5, 10, 50, 30, $80 into, a couple grand.
Right. But you got to remember when they refund you, they're not refunding your, your $10 that you put in or your $20 they put in. They're probably going to refund you. Like if you put $10 in, they're going to refund you 2 $5 bets.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened last time when I lost on this. I can't remember did they give it to you all in one? Because I thought last time I did this, they gave me free bets, but it was like 2 $5 free bets instead of just one $10 bet.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I could be wrong on that. It could have been something else, like some other promo we were doing. I have to look at that.
Yeah.
But so you don't want to get caught in the no sweat part. You still want to kind of look at it. You still want to make sure you're not picking outrageous, like make it make sense. You know, Waddle's not going to get 4 touchdowns. Don't put that in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is something that somebody would do. Be like, oh man,
absolutely,
like 20,000 for Hill and Waddle both to have 3 touchdowns apiece. And it's like, I mean, you've seen the games. I mean, they both could go off, but come on, So, you want to use your head. You still, take the time to see. I'm kind of leaning away from Waddle because he's also injured. So we're kind of just waiting on that as well. Of course, Tua, none of his stuff is showing. I want to look into like Hill's receiving yards. And what was the other one? Oh, I want to look at Mixon receiving yards.
Oh,
so keep an eye on that. I don't know about Chase Edmonds. He's not getting enough. I mean, when you got Waddle and Hill, it's really tough to want to run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 dynamic playmakers. So, and Tua, you get him outside the pocket. He can run a little bit. So, but I do like looking at Waddle touchdown, anytime touchdown, Hill anytime touchdown, Jamar Chase anytime touchdown, and then what I say, Mixon receiving yards and maybe Hill receiving yards.
Okay.
I feel like Waddle isn't as consistent what Hill has been, at least throughout the whole game. Waddle had only had a good night because he had a couple late, 3 receptions for, 70 yards, 60 yards, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Same game parlay for the promo bet on FanDuel.
Yeah. And to go back, the DraftKings one that you talked about, the up by 7 automatic payout.
Yep.
Again, like I said, I think Miami ends up winning the game outright. I took the Chargers week 1 because I felt like it was a situation where if the Chargers get the ball first, there's a very good chance that they're going to score. And actually, it ended up being, I think it was 2 drives took them to score. Both the Chiefs and the Chargers had a chance to score. And the Chargers ended up scoring first, which then immediately paid out. So I think there's value in taking the money line dog with this plus or this up 7 immediate payout. The Dolphins are currently sitting plus 170, and I mean they get the ball first. When the coin toss, decide to take the ball first, try and put up points early. You're already getting paid. You're 7-8 minutes into the game, and you've already walked away. Cashing a ticket already. So I did utilize that promo through DraftKings for that money line bet with the Dolphins. So
weak.
Yeah, buddy. So
I
flipping
the line's now down to 160 for Miami.
I imagined with the spread dropping a little bit that the money line would drop too, but you're still getting good odds on on a 3-0 team that just came off of a dogfight with the Bills. I think that showed a whole lot of, and I know it was a tough matchup, but I think that showed a whole lot of clout from that team to be able to win that game. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. I love it so much that I took a little bit of a hit on the juice with the teaser, but totally worth the money.
Yep.
So, looking ahead to Friday, there's 2 games on the slate that Braden and I have our eyes on. I have my eye on the late game. So Braden, I'll jump into mine and I'll let you go back into yours. So I'm looking at the Washington Huskies going into UCLA, playing on the road. Both teams 4-0, playing some good football right now, putting up a ton of points per game. Washington puts up about 44 points a game. UCLA puts up just shy of 42. On the flip side, great defenses, both giving up under 20 points a game. Yards are over 500 per game. So Washington's currently 4-0 against the spread. UCLA is 2-2 against the spread. I lean Washington, but I'm going to watch for live value. So right now the spread's -2.5. Washington, you're getting a -140 on the money line. I'm going to watch for this game to maybe drift the other direction. Let the home team gather some steam in the first half. I trust Penix Jr. Kid was a great quarterback at Indiana, transferred out to Washington, and having a hell of a year. I mean, he's already at almost 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 1 interception. So playing good football. He will get tested this weekend in UCLA. But I do think that I'm going to watch this game. And should I see Washington anywhere in the range of either +3 in the hook, or if I see them closer to like +170 to +200, I will bite on that. So that is a straight live play for me. I do think Washington is the better team. UCLA is a good team, but I think Washington is the better team. So I would be willing to risk it getting even or better than even money. Risk it for the biscuit. Yeah. So that is the game that I have my eye on for before Saturday. That's my Friday night game. I didn't like anything tomorrow night in college football. I think there's 2 games tomorrow, I want to say. I didn't like anything. So that's where I'm going into the weekend before Saturday. What about you?
Yeah, so I got the University of Texas San Antone
Ooh, a little UTSA
against Middle Tennessee, who just came out with a big win against Miami last week, 45-31. So I'm going over on the total, which I believe it was 62.5 when I did it. Make it be, 62.5. So it's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, but the only game. Let me pull this back up. So the only game that Texas San Antone scored less than 31.5 points was Texas 2 weeks ago when they played them. They lost 41-20. In Middle Tennessee, I mean, James Madison, I don't know where they're coming from, but they've been insanely playing well. But they beat Middle Tennessee 44-7 in the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since then, Middle Tennessee has put up 34, 49, and 45. And that 45 was against Miami last week. So I think you're going to look about 64, 65 combined points this week. So that's why I am going over on the 62.5.
Okay. All right.
It is at home, Middle Tennessee. So go Stangs.
Go Stangs.
What are they? The Roadrunners?
I don't know. That
Yeah,
might be
Roadrunners.
Roadrunners.
Yeah, Texas San Antone. Jerseys are pretty sweet though.
Are they?
Yeah, jerseys are pretty sweet. Kind of have the Broncos colors,
Oh, nice. Right on.
but yeah, I mean, I can definitely see both these teams putting up some. I mean, obviously, looking at these scores, um, San Antonio gives up a lot of points, but they put up a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Tennessee, besides the Miami game, the most they gave up was 19. So,
Okay.
if anything's going to happen, it's probably going to be. I don't know. I don't know what the score would probably end up being, but I could maybe a 35-30.
Yeah.
It just depends on what San Antonio is going to do coming into Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that game has a lot of eyes on it. Middle Tennessee is one of those teams. I don't remember what they were ATS so far for the year. Do you recall? Okay. Middle Tennessee's been one of those teams where I feel like they're 3-1 against the spread. So again, doing a good job. Not a big offensive powerhouse, but a good defensive team, as you stated. So I like Middle Tennessee there. I don't know how I feel about the total on that one quite yet. That might be another live one for me. Maybe see a drive or two stall out and then maybe try and find the over then at that point. Because I do agree with you. I think at one point it will turn into a little bit of a shootout, but I think it's going to take a second for these teams to kind of figure each other out. And I'm hoping to waste about 7 minutes of game clock to be able to get some good value on a total there. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's the entry that I would be looking at. Yeah, that's the entry I would be looking at. So,
spread right now is 4.5. Minus 4.5 for San Antonio.
Okay.
So,
money
line is weird.
What's that?
The money line looks weird to me.
Why is that?
I don't know why. The Roadrunners are minus 192, and Middle Tennessee State is plus 158.
Okay. Well, I'm showing UTSA as the favorite in this game, so minus minus the 4.5.
Yep.
So that's where. So where I guess where's the confusion at?
Just the money line. It just looks weird.
Okay. Yeah,
like 192. That just I don't know. I've never seen. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I will tell you a lot of heavy money has come in on the UTSA side. Not really much. I mean, you're getting 70% of the bets with 86% of the money coming in on UTSA. Looking at the line movement, it opened up at +6. It's down to +4.5. So it makes sense that that's kind of where the line has moved with that much of the money on that side of the ball. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's one that definitely, if I'm gonna mess with it, it'll be live for me. I don't really necessarily have a great feeling either way when it comes to those two teams and how I think that game will play out. So, also another game that I'm looking at for I'm gonna say for value, or I shouldn't say for value, but another game that I'm looking at that I like going into Saturday is going to be probably the biggest matchup, I would say, in the SEC. And I say that
college football.
I'm talking college football. Yeah, going into Saturday. And I say that with a little bit of hesitation just because I know Bama plays Arkansas, but I don't see that game being close. I don't even know what the spread is on the Bama-Arkansas game, but I think Bama makes a statement in that game. So, but I'm looking at Kentucky and Ole Miss. First of all, I don't know if anybody has or has not seen the Ole Miss helmets that are going to be donned this weekend, but they actually paired up with Realtree. And it's the first time that a school has teamed up with a non-sports apparel company, and these things are fire, dude. They are camo, but white camo. Yeah, you should try and find a picture and see if we can see if we could show the viewers. But I'm looking at this game as, okay, Kentucky's playing good football right now, averaging 31 points a game, but holding teams to only 13, putting up, 380 yards a game. You got Ole Miss doing pretty much the same, 41-10. But let's look at the teams that they've played. So since the start of the year, Kentucky's played Miami of Ohio, Florida, at Florida. They played Youngstown State and Northern Illinois. Florida, they beat 26-16. The following weekend, they routed 31-0. Northern Illinois, which has always been a fairly decent offensive team, they still won 31-23. Now let's look on the flip side. Ole Miss, Troy. I don't even know who they played week 2. Georgia Tech, and then Tulsa. So you look at the quality of teams that these two programs have played, and Kentucky is by far playing a tougher schedule, and they're 4-0. But you look at where the odds are on this game, and you're getting Kentucky right now at plus a tutter.
Get out of here.
You're getting Kentucky +7 in this game. Now, I wanted to be safe. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. It's going to be huge. I went ahead and I put a 2-leg teaser on this one. I took Kentucky. I got them at 6.5. So it's moved back since I got them. But I have Kentucky plus 12.5. And then I also did the same thing where I teased the total, because the total is 54. I teased that down and I got it down to now 47.5. So I actually had it at 53.5, and I teased it down to 47.5. So I, again, 2-leg parlay on the Kentucky game. I like Kentucky to win this game outright, plus 215. But I promise you, Ole Miss sees the ball first, and they happen to do something. And this is going to be a high scoring game. I really do think that both of these teams haven't played truly prolific offenses yet. So those points allowed per game at 13 and 10 are a little low, but they're a little skewed. I think both of these offenses have put up a good game. I think you see a game closer to, almost like 27-30, somewhere in that ballpark. I think Kentucky wins this game outright, but I'm willing to just take my 2-leg, sit back on my loins, and watch it play out. If I happen to see Kentucky, it's like plus 350 or 400, I'll definitely sprinkle on that, because I think that they win this game outright. Again, plus 215. There's value there, don't get me wrong, but not enough for me to jump in and double dip on this game quite yet. So that is a game that I have played. Another pretty good sizable bet for me on those 2 legs of that game. And I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Do you have any plays yet for Saturday? I have a few more. Okay.
No, I'm kind of holding off.
That's fine.
Kind of letting it ride out for a minute.
Yeah. So a couple other ones real quick that I have. I've got Duke minus 2.5, Georgia Southern plus 10, and then FAU minus 3.5. So those are 3 other plays that I have for the weekend, or at least for Saturday. So if you jump on any of those, feel free to give me a shout if they hit, or shout at me if they miss. But 3 good plays. Feel very confident about going into Saturday. So that's what I've got for the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I've got one play for Sunday so far that I really like, and that's Raiders minus 2.5. I know everybody's saying, "Oh my God, why the hell are you playing the Raiders?" Right? Like, what in the fuck are you thinking? And all I have to say is the Raiders. What's that?
It's going to hit.
Yeah, the Raiders are 0-3, right? Bottom of their division. A whole lot of expectations were put out for this team going into the season. They just signed Devontae Adams. But I think if you look at who they've played to start the year, it has not been easy sledding for them. They played Arizona on the road, lost that one in an overtime. They played LA on the road. They played Arizona at home, lost that one in overtime, and then they played at Tennessee, which is not an easy place to play. I know Tennessee's not a fantastic football team. They're still trying to get some stuff going, but they do a really good job of chewing up the clock.
Yeah, but the Raiders gave. I mean, they should have won the Arizona game.
They should have. Yeah, 1,000%. And
That-
the Chargers are a damn good football team. So and then you go to the flip side. I mean, and the Broncos are not, they're just not good. They're not good. Russell Wilson, everybody thought he was the multi-million-dollar answer for that. Exactly. They thought he was the answer for that organization, and he is just not fit the way that I think everybody thought. The offensive
got to
line
work
is
the kinks out.
Yeah, not giving him much help either. But they've lost to Seattle and the journeyman Geno Smith. They beat the Houston Texans, which I'm pretty sure are probably trying to play for last place.
Stop
they
it.
don't give a shit about their squad. And then they
and then with Houston.
And then they lost to San Francisco 10-11 in what was probably the worst Sunday night football game that I can remember in decades. Was that Sunday night or Monday night?
Which one was it?
That was Sunday night. Sunday night. The Broncos 49ers game.
Oh yeah, Sunday.
That was terrible. So Denver, again, they're 2-1. It looks good on paper, but they beat a shitty Texans team and they beat a shitty 49ers team on a game-winning drive, game-winning play at home. So I look at this game and I'm like, I don't understand how the Ravens aren't favored by almost a touchdown, or the Raiders aren't favored by almost a touchdown in this game. So I laid a couple units on the Raiders to cover this one. I think they get it going this weekend. You almost have to. This is kind of a make or to break it. If you don't win this game, you go 0-4 to start the season. You just can't do that. Not with the expectations that are laid in front of you. So that's a game that I'm definitely all over.
Like when they say white on rice.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned FAU. Who are they playing?
Give me just a second because I can look it up for you. So they're playing Northern Texas, and I am somebody that is this is basically more of a fade Northern Texas or North Texas than it is so much an FAU. A lot of start money coming in on FAU, big money on North Texas though. North Texas is only getting 24% of the tickets, but getting 43% of the money. So not that, FAU is not getting their fair share, but the biggest jump in ticket to money ratio is on the North Texas side. If you just look at, offensive versus offensive ranks, FAU is better in red zone efficiency, third down conversions, first downs, sacks allowed. Northern Texas does have them in both passing yards and yards per play. FAU is a better rushing team. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you're also getting a much better team on the FAU side as well. So, overall, 3-2. FAU's 3-2 against the spread. Northern Texas is 2-3. But again, I look at this as purely just a fade North Texas ball game. FAU has played so far. Ohio University lost that one by a field goal. Then they've also lost to UCF and Purdue, which Purdue's not a great team this year. But much the same conversation.
Can I stop you, Brad?
Yeah.
Can you say that so our listeners heard you?
Purdue is not a very good football team this year.
All right. Thanks, Brad. Just want to appreciate that. Yep. Thank you.
And then North Texas lost to SMU, lost to UNLV, and lost to Memphis, who Memphis is a shell of who they were a couple of years ago. So I think they beat Texas State. But other than that,
Texas State who we thought they were.
Right. So again, this is me fading one team more than loving another team. But I do like the play a lot. And then for those of you who are trying to find the other plays that I had, again, I'm on Duke minus the 2.5 against Virginia. Also, very big on Duke here over Virginia. It is at Brooks Field Brooks Field in Durham. So it is at Duke. Duke is home. Not much movement on this one. I mean, Duke's just getting hammered with the bets and the money. Most everything is on Duke on this one. So I like Duke in this situation. And then the last one was the Georgia Southern. Give you guys an idea who they've got, just so that way you guys can look it up. So Georgia Southern is playing Coastal Carolina. Not going to get a whole lot of love on this one because a lot of people are high on Coastal Carolina, but 4-0. Okay, 4-0 against the spread, or sorry, 4-0 on the year is Coastal Carolina. 3-1 is Georgia Southern. You look at the spread. Coastal Carolina is 2-1-1. Georgia Southern is 3-1. I really think if you compare these two teams, if you're looking at the offense for Georgia Southern and defense for Coastal Carolina is where this game is going to be decided. So just to kind of run a few things down for you, Georgia Southern is 4th in third down conversion rates, 7th in first downs, 2nd in sacks allowed, 15th in passing yards, 41st in rushing yards, and 40th in yards per play. Now, again, that's in the nation, and you're talking about a team as like Georgia Southern. So love it when you're giving me 10 points, you're giving me double digits on a school like this. I'll take that all day. So
I like it. Dude, those Ole Miss helmets are sweet.
Can you screen share one? So
it won't let me. I've been
viewers can see
trying.
it.
I've been trying the whole time we've been sitting here. Hold on, let me see if I can. I got too much crap in the middle of my screen. I can't. I still have this.
Balling out. P.S.
Yes. Oh, shit.
P.S.
Letters just flew out.
Oh no.
Oh crap. It looks like I can. So let me try this.
Did you look like?
I want to close a couple of the browsers.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Basement door shut.
All right. Look at those.
Yeah, those are just absolutely fire, dude.
Yeah.
It's a situation where honestly that helmet is worth a collector's item. If you're an Ole Miss fan,
That's a mini helmet thing.
Yeah,
right
that's
there,
a mini
man.
helmet that you would have to have.
I'm trying to see if the Ole Miss. Oh, can't spell. Just imagine that, I guess, and
Yeah.
just imagine that, but like on a jersey.
Yeah, if you type in the Ole Miss Real Tree jersey, see if that comes up.
Come on, Bessie. Come on, Bessie.
Yeah, like look at that, dude. Look how cold that is. Speaking of, did you see the only thing that the Bengals have going for them tomorrow, in my opinion, are those white helmets. White helmets and white jerseys. Those things look badass too. I absolutely love this. I absolutely love that Ole Miss is doing this. You don't see this enough. I mean, you obviously see Oregon do it quite a bit. You get the cool Shamrock Series helmets when Notre Dame's playing. You do get some cool helmets, but not enough. And this is awesome. Yeah, absolutely awesome. So
I think it's neat that they're doing it. Is it for anything? Like
I haven't. I did not read if there's any proceeds that go anywhere or if there's any benefits or anything like that are out there. Yeah, I just think it's a pretty unique thing that they're doing.
I think it's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Make our screens bigger. Whoa, that's way too big, Brad.
Yeah, my nose looks really huge in that view.
Probably see my boogers.
Are there any props, any early things that you're trending to? Anything that you kind of have your eye on in the NFL?
Not really. Again, I'm kind of waiting.
Yeah.
With this being our first show of the week, I'll probably know more Friday.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple questions. Do you feel the Browns offense is holding on with Jacoby Brissett, or do you think it's thriving with Jacoby Brissett?
I mean, I think if you asked anybody,
Browns are already talking about the Super Bowl. Like if you talk to any Browns fans, they're like, "We're going to the ship."
Yeah,
it's like stop.
Yeah, stop. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, so if you talk to anybody, once Deshaun Watson was announced, he was suspended for 6 games. If you would have said, "Okay, Cleveland Browns, you guys are going to start the season without your number one quarterback that you paid all this godforsaken money for. And you guys are staring down the barrel, not of a 45, but you're staring down the barrel of a real good opportunity to end up being above 500 before Deshaun Watson comes back. Can you imagine how excited and elated Browns fans would be? And that's exactly where they are. Listen to this. The Browns are going into Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta -1.5. Okay. This line started out at 2.5. I think I had it down at 2. Yeah. It started out at 2.5. It's down to 1.5. I'm going to continue to watch this line because if it gets down to 1 or even money, I mean, they're only -125. If I can get the Browns even money, going into it, and again, going into Atlanta, I understand going into, an opponent's stadium, but the Falcons suck. Like, they are not good. Marcus Mariota is not a good quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than Marcus Mariota.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I feel like the Falcons defense is always a weird one. Like, it's like everybody's trap game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Listen, Falcons have averaged 26 points a game, given up 27. Browns are 28, giving up 24. Yards allowed, they're almost 400 yards for the Falcons, where the Browns are only at 339. The Browns run the ball a lot between Hunt and Chubb. Browns, I mean, you also look at how they've lost. So they beat Carolina, which Carolina's a shitty team. Yeah, they lost to the Jets, which I don't know how they lost to the Jets. Joe Flacco had, some sort of magic there. And then they beat Pittsburgh. So they've had some good quality wins with one bad loss. But then the Falcons, they lost to New Orleans. They lost to Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
They lost to the Rams, who Super Bowl champs, right? But the Rams are also sitting at what? Are they in
2?
Yeah, I was there. Are they in last place in their division?
I think so.
And then they beat Seattle. And again, Geno Smith is not a great quarterback. So I just look at the two teams and what you have here. And the Browns, I believe, truly are sitting back saying, okay, if we win this game, we're 3-1. We have, who do they have next? Because I tried to look that up earlier. I can tell you guys here in just a second. So they have the Chargers. Which is going to be a tough game. It is at home, but they do have the Chargers. So say you lose that game, now you're 3-2. Well, then you have New England, who is terrible. So now you could go 4-2, and now you have
even more terrible because Mac Jones is injured.
Yeah. So now you're 4-2, and Deshaun Watson comes back to play Baltimore. So you're 4-2, potentially 2 games above 500. I mean, they look at this like we have to win this game to set us up for the following 2 games.
Yeah.
Because I think if they lose this game and go 2-2, well, now they can at best be 3-3 before he comes back. So that 4-2 and 3-3 is a huge difference maker. So I think Cleveland comes in. Also, remember, they're on longer rest. They played Thursday, so they have extra rest. I mean, I think the fact that this line is where it is absolutely crazy. And I think it's going to continue to come down, and I'm going to just give me the points, give me the value, please do it. I'll take the Browns. Easy.
Very good. All right. Chargers star Bosa is to have surgery. So Chargers take a hit on defense.
Speaking of, how about Myles Garrett?
What was Myles Garrett?
The car accident?
Oh, yeah.
So he's not ruled out for Sunday yet. He still has a chance to play. He only had a strained pec and a strained bicep or something like that.
Insurance went up, but
yeah. Well,
dang it.
Yeah. When you wreck a $350,000 car, I guess you can probably afford to pay for a little bit more insurance, huh?
That's right. Man, I should have got that extended warranty. Damn.
Hope you had gap coverage.
Hope you got that gap. We joke, but like I always get it because it never fails.
Right.
It never fails. As soon as I get over that, the mileage, it's like 2 miles later, it just takes a dump. So I always get the gap coverage. Mr. Wilson is cleared to play for the Jets this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if they decide to stick with Shane Falco.
I was gonna say, yeah, he needs to be going He needs to be going back to playing for the replacements.
Um. Oh, I got another injury report for today throughout the league. Players that did not practice today: Jonathan Taylor with a toe injury, Christian McCaffrey quad, Dalvin Cook shoulder. So pretty much, if you play in my fantasy football league, you know this is like my whole team. So it's pretty cool. DeAndre, which by the way, Brad, I play you this week.
Mm.
So DeAndre Swift, shoulder ankle, David Montgomery, ankle and hip. Some limited participants in practice today. J.K. Dobbins just got back. Now he's already having chest issues. A.J. Dillon knee, Miles Sanders hip, Damian Pierce hip, Melvin Gordon neck.
Sounds like it's a rough league to be a running back, huh?
Yep. Well, those were only running backs.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's like, I mean, you probably had what, 15 there?
It's stupid amount.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, and I don't want to harp on something that
10.
that we don't have any control over, but I do think Odell made a really good point. When you saw the knee injury that occurred over the weekend, and Sterling Shepard going down to his torn ACL. Turf, man, we talked about this. I think we talked about this on our last last show.
Yep.
And I don't know I don't know the percentage of knee injuries as far as the increase from when they introduced turf over grass. But man, you just see players like this going down all the time for non-contact injuries. And it just breaks your heart, because here's the thing. Sterling Shepard, he had a good couple years, but this injury, it probably ends his career. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see him getting re-signed with the Giants, and I don't see another team taking a flyer on him at his age.
Yeah.
And, he was just jogging down the field, bro. And if that's not a glaring red light flashing sign to the NFL of, you know what, we are damaging our product, and we are injuring, more importantly, we're injuring the livelihood and the health of these players. And it's not doing them justice. I think
kind of under control now, with the new helmets and everything.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Now it's like, cool, we're playing to watch Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is getting injured.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I'm not mean to throw Colt McCoy out, but I just saw his name on here, so it was the first thing I thought of. But yeah, but look at this. The all white.
Yeah. Those are just
sharp.
So hard, dude. Like I said, that's I mean, if nothing else, they won the jerseys for that night. But I don't think.
And it's weird because it's like it's just all white and black. Like what's so great? It's like, but
that's just
like
so
sharp
clean.
Looking.
It's so clean. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, yeah, going back just real quick, I think the NFL dearly, desperately needs to look into turf and what it's doing to the players.
Yeah, but how are you going to force turf? How are you going to force people to do grass?
I don't think that there's an issue with it. I mean, I would imagine that the Players Association could, try and hold a lockout, or, you know what I mean? Like you get enough support behind that. I mean, players could be like, no, until you install grass, we're not playing. And I understand it's more upkeep. I understand it's tougher to maintain. I understand all of these different conditions, but if it keeps players healthy, man, you would think that the owners would be like, yeah, it's worth an extra, however much it is. I mean, a couple, maybe it's $1 million a year. Well, you make billions in ticket revenue and apparel sales and concessions.
How can you do that indoors?
Grass? What do you mean?
Like have a grass field indoors?
Why? You can put water, you can put sprinklers in there. Why wouldn't you be able to?
I mean, it needs sunlight.
Well, I mean, you have all these. I mean, the entire one side of Minnesota Stadium is completely open. Put a retractable roof. I mean, you have. Yeah,
You're getting past $1 million now.
well, yeah, no, I mean, I understand that there are teams out there
It
that
would have to be like, hey, in the next 5 years, 6
yeah.
years.
All I have to say is if they can sit there and they can take a basketball court and turn it into an ice rink and then to a concert hall and then to something that holds, little children's gymnastics in a matter of like 48 hours, they can figure out, I mean, they can figure out how to
I
grow
mean,
grass
Arizona did it right.
inside of a dome.
Arizona did it right with their field.
Yeah.
You can take it outside. It like retracts outdoors.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. So their field is grass,
Uh-huh.
and it's obviously a dome.
Right.
But what it is like it opens up on the one side, and then it literally on tracks comes all the way outside.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody saying, everybody has to, all football fields need to go to a dome so weather doesn't impact games, which I think is an absolutely asinine
that's
claim.
football.
There's a reason why Packers play in the frozen tundra, or why when you play in New York at Gillette Stadium, and you're playing in the middle of December and it's snowing and it's freezing freaking cold up there. There's a reason why those games that's football, right? That's gridiron football. That's grown man football.
That's
I don't
right.
want to see
Hell
everything
yeah.
going indoors. But I do think that there is it's not because fans don't want to get cold or they don't want to get rained on. No, we're switching over to grass because we see too many players that are coming down year after year with non-contact knee injuries, and it's destroying the product that you're putting on the field. Can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine if in the same year you had 4 or 5 of the top receivers, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, you give me, Michael Pittman, you give me Kyle Pitts. I mean, you take 4 or 5 of these guys, and it's instantaneously you're like, oh crap, and it's happening more and more.
Yep.
So
Jefferson, Cup, Chase. I mean, list goes on and on.
Yeah. So I definitely think it's worth, I think it's worth the NFL at least sitting back and listening and just considering.
Yeah. And they may be plans now, but it's just silent.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Who do the Golden Domers got this weekend?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is it bye week?
I'm not sure. I feel like it was
I think it's a bye week.
It is a bye week. It is a bye week. Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought it was.
Yeah. I know
I'm just disappointed, dude. Yeah, they won. They finally got it together last week, but something about that Marshall game. I mean, I was feeling good after Ohio State, even though we lost.
Yeah. Listen, I go back.
Marshall game, just I don't understand. Like if they just were, they're like, we played with Ohio State, we can play with anybody, and then Marshall comes in and goes, no, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, man. We talked about it.
McConaughey wasn't even there, so how did they win?
Well, I mean, they are Marshall.
We are Marshall.
But I go back to Marshall was very prepared for that game. Notre Dame saw it as a look past game. I completely agree with you there. However, that running back, and I apologize, I do not remember his name. That running back,
we
Marshall
last week.
Yeah, was an absolute stud. And if he can stay healthy and he can keep producing all year this year, I think he's got a good shot at least getting drafted and being able to make his case for playing on Sundays. Because the kid was just an animal. Again, a former 5-star recruit, went to Florida State, had some injuries, and then was signed.
LeBourne?
Yes, was signed to play for Marshall. So I think the win last week, I think it told us a lot. I think one, it told us that Tommy Rees finally knows how to open up his playbook in the second half. I think two, you saw Drew Pine kind of start to feel a little bit more comfortable throwing the football.
Yeah.
And then three, and probably least importantly, but I do think there's some importance there. North Carolina is not as good as what everybody thought. They had that, 120-point game with App State week 1. I don't remember who they played in week 2. So, they were real high on North Carolina. Notre Dame came in. Defense played well, which defense played really well in the first game against Ohio State. They just got gassed because they got outworked by like 20, 25 plays. So they were just gassed. Marshall was just, that was a blemish that needs to be erased.
This is just embarrassing. Like Marshall beat Notre Dame. Well, they beat Norfolk State 55-3, whatever. Then Notre Dame at Notre Dame 26-21.
Right.
Then they stay on the road for another 2 weeks. Bowling Green and Troy. Bowling Green, they lost 34-31.
Yeah.
Troy, they lost 16-7.
Yeah. I don't know much about Bowling Green this year. Troy's not a bad football program either. But yeah, no, listen, it's not a good loss. And Notre Dame might as well just playing for next year.
Yeah.
They'll get a bowl invite. They'll win a handful more games to be bowl eligible. So they'll get a bowl invite, but yeah, there's no reason to think that Notre Dame has any kind of contingent plans to play in anything that is of significance when it comes to bowl games. So,
also, Brad, jumping back to college football. Well, we are talking college football, but I mentioned earlier James Madison.
Yeah.
Have you looked at what they've been doing this year?
I've heard like rumblings of them, like people talking about it, but I have not looked into it myself. No.
So obviously we mentioned that Middle Tennessee lost to them, but they beat Middle Tennessee State 44-7. Then Norfolk State 63-7. Then Appalachian State last weekend 32-28.
Yeah. And those are my boys. They have Citadel this weekend, so they'll get a win by like 48 million points.
Yeah.
So Citadel's
School
bad.
of the blind. School of the deaf.
Right. St. Mary's School for the Blind. Please don't judge us.
This is I don't judge zone.
Right, exactly. No judgment zone. Yeah, no, I think, you're going to find schools that are like that, man. You're going to find schools that come in and they just kind of blow you away with what they're able to do. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that there's teams out there that are doing that for sure. Another game that I do think everybody needs to watch, and it's not for betting prowess, but if you have not watched USC play yet this year, you need to watch USC play football. Lincoln Riley and them boys are playing some ball. Good squad over there. They 4-0 right now. They're taking on a pretty struggling Arizona State team that's 1-3. But I think you've got, so just so I'll read it off here to you. So okay. USC's got 4 wins: Rice 66-14, Stanford 41-28. Fresno State 45-17, and then Oregon State, which was on the road, which is a very tough place to play. And Oregon State's a very good team, 17-14. So putting up almost 500 yards a game, limiting the teams to 18 points a game. Just real good. Again, spreads 25.5. It will not be close, but they're a fun team to watch, man. I would recommend if you can turn the TV on 10:30 o'clock p.m. game on ESPN. It'll be fun to watch them. So, yeah, that's what I got, man.
Sweet.
I will say, anybody that is live with us, again, thank you for joining us here on our show. As always, there are so many ways to follow us, be a part of our Ballin' Out squad. You can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Ballin' Out Plus. It's rolling across the bottom there on the marquee.
Little ticker.
You can also follow us on TikTok. You can follow me at Ballin' Out Plus Brad and Braden at Ballin' Out Braden. If you have any questions or want to get any of this cool merch, you can email us at info@ballinoutplus.com. You can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Apple Podcast. And then as always, check out our website at www.ballinoutplus, all spelled out, .com. Braden, what else you got? Anything else, man?
Well,
or do we have to sit back and wait in suspense for those wonderful, amazing TikToks that you put together for everybody?
Hey,
dude, I'm telling you, you're slaying it on that stuff.
I got 2 more I got to put down. I guess we can I can kind of go over the TikToks I did because it kind of falls in line with the NFL.
I got a full beer, so I'm ready.
Are you ready for this? All right, so week 4 in the NFL, we got the PPR top QBs.
Ooh, so this is for this current week.
Week 4, which is this week.
I'm gonna try and guess.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna guess Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I'm gonna guess Tua.
I can't read that last one.
Tua Tagovailoa. Nope. No? Okay.
Nope.
Jalen Hurts.
Because you're thinking PPR. Well, I guess quarterbacks really don't matter too much for PPR, but who'd you say?
Jalen Hurts.
Correct.
Okay.
You got 2.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And the last one, Rodgers. They play it. No. They play nobody. I thought with the Patriots coming in, that'd be for sure. Who was the last one? Who did I not get?
There's 2 more you haven't gotten yet.
Oh, who's the last 2?
So Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert.
Really?
Yep.
Herbert's been limited. I'm surprised he ranks up there, but I can see it.
High ceiling.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I can see it. He's got a lot of potential to score a ton of points. So
if he plays, he's gonna. I mean, the guy. You watched him during the Chiefs game. Like, he was not gonna let the pain that he was suffering from keep him out of that game. Like, he just kept fighting.
Yeah.
I got some PPR top QB for the waiver wire. Anybody who's looking for another QB after some injuries? We got number 1, Geno Smith. Number 2, Daniel Jones. Number 3, Mitchell Trubisky. 4, Baker Mayfield. And I feel like this one should have been more number 1 waiver wire, not number 5. Jacoby Brissett. And this is, and I'll say that all these are based on a 12-team league.
Yeah. I definitely think Jacoby, I agree with you there. Too. Yeah, I think Jacoby there because, again, he's got an easy matchup coming up this week. Who are the other ones you said?
Geno Smith.
Yeah, I don't like that one in Detroit. I mean, they'll put up a lot of points. Detroit puts up a lot.
Yeah, but you're talking waiver wire. So you already have a quarterback. So you're needing one for this week.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, Mitchell Trubisky, and Baker.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is only worth a shit when he runs the ball. So, and now, I mean, the Giants lost Sterling Shepard. They're looking at trading Tony and Galladay. So he's got nobody other than Saquon Barkley to catch the damn football. So it's like, I don't know what he's going to do. That team's just a dumpster fire too. So,
I mean, there were what 2-0.
I mean, they were, but yeah, I mean, do we want to talk about who they've played?
Winning's winning.
I mean, you have a win at Tennessee. Again, not a good football team. I know that they're a playoff team, and then a win at Carolina, which Baker Mayfield doesn't look like he should be quarterbacking.
Dude, it's so funny with fantasy football with Baker Mayfield. I have him in a league. Every week I go into halftime, I'm like, Jesus, he only has like 6 points. But then by the end of the game, he's up in like 23, 28.
Yeah.
Like he makes that comeback and he just starts slinging the ball everywhere. Like, do that through the whole game.
Yeah.
So top running backs PPR format, points per reception for anybody that doesn't know what PPR is. If you are listening to the show and you don't know what PPR is, then you probably aren't listening to the show.
And it also means points per reception.
Yes. So number 1, Christian McCaffrey. Number 2, Taylor. 3, Barkley. 4, Eckler, and 5, Fournette.
2 of the 5 were on the injury list you read off earlier.
Yep. Again, Brad.
Yeah. High ceiling. I get it. I do.
PPR. That's the thing. You got to remember it's PPR.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, those all make sense to me. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, check down receiver. Baker Mayfield likes to throw those check down receivers. He did it for years in Cleveland. Number 2 is Jonathan Taylor. Second, same thing. Matt Ryan. I mean, outside of Julio Jones, the only thing he's ever done is thrown swing passes or little slant routes on the inside.
Yep.
The third one was Eckler. Barkley, same thing. Daniel Jones, we just talked about it. Nobody to throw to. Then you have Eckler. That one surprises me a little bit just because of the outside weapons that they have. But Eckler is that type of running back. He's a receiving running back. He'll actually pop out and play slot or go out wide.
It's surprising they do it a lot.
They do. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you got William. I mean, Keenan Allen's been injured, but you got Mike Williams. You got the rookie Palmer. You got Everett, veteran tight end. I think Guyton is injured.
Might be. I think you might be right there.
Yeah. So Eckler's a good bet. Like, and it's crazy because you're looking at these, it's like, well, this is a no-brainer. But I mean, if Hunt was on a different team, I think he'd be up there.
Oh, absolutely. 1, if he didn't have Brissett, and 2, if he wasn't behind or paired up with Chubb.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there'd be a good case for Kareem Hunt if obviously. Dang, dude, when he was with Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, just a stud.
Yeah.
And then I think he got hurt, and then they traded him.
More like he punched.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
More like he hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So
did a whole Ray Rice thing.
Oh my God.
Back to live action. We have PPR top wide receivers. So for running backs and receivers, I didn't do waiver wire only because you're slim pickings when you get into there because you should already have backups on your team. You should already have, so.
Yeah. You're not going to typically stash a second quarterback,
right?
Unless you're in a 2-quarterback league. You're not going to stash a quarterback.
Yeah. If you have
conversely, you're going to load up
flex league,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Yeah.
two.
My dynasty league has a quarterback super flex spot.
Yep.
But I only carry 2 quarterbacks. And like I've got Mac Jones, he's going to be out this week. So I have to slide somebody else in there. And I'm not even going to go out and try and pick up another quarterback because it just there's no value there. Everybody that's on, like you said, everybody that's on the waiver is probably, shot at this point. So
Yep.
but no, I think it's smart.
So number 1 for top PPR wide receivers. You want to take a whack at it?
Number 1 for top wide receiver PPR this week.
That is correct.
Okay. I'm gonna say
If you want a cheat sheet, go to my TikTok, Brad.
no, I don't want to cheat. I want to try and get it right without cheating. I'm gonna roll with volume receiver. I'm gonna go Tyreek Hill.
He's number 4.
Okay, so he's up there. Cooper Kupp.
Number 2.
Oh. No, I'm not gonna go. I do like Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. Justin Jefferson?
Wrong.
Oh man.
Not in top 5 this week.
It's not Diggs.
Yep. Diggs is
It
number
is?
1. Diggs number 1.
Diggs is 1?
Cup
Huh.
number 2. Chase number 3.
That makes
Tyreek Hill
sense.
4. Number 5. Debo Samuel.
And I mean,
Only because they got Garoppolo. Garoppolo was just
loves him some Debo.
oh yeah.
Loves him
Give
some
him
Debo.
the D. Bo.
Mm-hmm. Bo. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That one surprises me a little bit. I look at the Buffalo matchup going into Baltimore and playing. That one's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Diggs is a Pro Bowl wide receiver, although they won't be having the Pro Bowl. We'll talk about that another time. But he is a top 5 wide receiver in the league, 1,000%. But I think if you're looking at matchups, that one shocks me. Now, the only thing that I can think of is okay, it's going to be a high scoring game. But I guess we'll see what kind of Buffalo team, dons the field. Everybody thought that, Miami and Buffalo was going to be this high scoring affair because Buffalo was starting 4 DBs that had a combined 3 starts prior to that game.
Yeah.
Because they lost Micah Hyde, they lost Jordan Poyer. So, I mean, they were like, oh, God, Miami's going to hang 50 and Buffalo's going to keep up because they're going to hang 52 or whatever, people thought. And it just didn't happen. 19-20, right?
Yep.
So that surprises
Still
me.
pissed about that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt a little bit. I had Miami on the money line, so I actually wasn't that bad. So yeah, I do like those. I think those are smart. And anybody who is struggling, maybe you're new to fantasy. If you watch Braden's TikTok videos, he posts them every week. He talks about
every day.
Yeah. Every day he posts TikToks. But as far as matchups and PPR quarterbacks or PPR running backs, PPR wide receivers, those will be posted every week for that following week. So you can kind of follow along and say, okay, who's scheduled to have a good one. So if you're between 2 players, maybe you've got a Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, and then you've got like a Devontae Smith, right? Those are that's a legitimate potential possibility to have those 3 wide receivers on one team. And you're looking at it, and he's got Devontae ranked 5th, 6th, 7th, and Justin Jefferson ranked down maybe at the 10 spot. Then it might be worth sliding him in there. So if you have questions, follow Braden's TikTok. He's got a lot of good information on there. He also puts up his plays and everything way better than I do. I'll admit that.
Jumping over to tight ends. Yours is looking pretty good, Brad. Just want to let you know.
Appreciate you, Paul.
So PPR top tight ends for week 4. Number 1, Mark Andrews. Number 2,
had a hell of a week last week.
Surprise, Travis Kelce.
Yep.
3. Kittle's back in the mix again. Kittle's been kind of silent for a while because he's been hurt. But he's back in talk this week. Top coming in at number 3, Kyle Pitts, number 4, and Darren, the man, the myth, the legend, Waller. So number 5.
Heck yeah.
Now, I did do a waiver for tight end because it's the same thing, kind of like quarterbacks. Chances are you're only going to have one on your team.
Right.
So, in a 12-team PPR format, I say 10 or 12. 12-team PPR format. Top waiver wire tight end pickups. Robert Tonyan.
Ooh.
Number 1.
I could see that.
He's back from being injured.
Mm-hmm.
He had, was it 9? No. 6 receptions this last game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, didn't get a whole lot of yard. It was like short yardage, but he was getting looks. So that's what you want, especially in PPR. Number 2, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember back in the day when he just shredded for New York?
Giants.
Yeah. He just fell off the map. That tells you what kind of quarterback Danny Dimes is. He throws dimes to the other team.
Number 3, plays for the Saints. Juan Johnson.
Oh, okay. I don't know his first name. I knew it was Johnson was the last name. I didn't know his first name.
Number 4, Noah Fant, Seattle. And number 5, Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu.
Those are your waiver wires for tight ends.
Yeah. Love it.
Don't know if I'm going to do defense or kicker this week. Dunno.
Defense is definitely one of those where it's nice to have some additional information and some help. So I think if you're kind of on the fence, defense would be great for the viewers, especially if they don't know much. Taking a look at offensive rankings versus certain defenses. Because listen, that's exactly why I started Dallas's defense this past weekend against the Giants. Dallas's defense is a very I think that they kind of made a claim for themselves, but a very underrated defense. That defensive front 4 that they have is very good.
Yeah.
And I picked them up, scooped them up, put them in, and it won me one of my leagues. So took that for a victory.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I went 1-4 this last weekend.
I went 4-0.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 3-0 in one league. 0-3 in 2. No, 0-3 in one league. Another league, 1-2. And then I'm trying this new. We did an auction draft. Were you in it? For the Sleeper app? So there's a new app out for fantasy football. It's called Sleeper.
Beautiful app. Absolutely love it.
You use it?
Oh yeah, that's what my dynasty league's in.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah, fucking hands down best app ever.
It's cool
for fantasy football. Sorry, for fantasy football, it's the best app.
Yeah. So where was I getting? I don't know where I was going.
You did an auction.
Yeah, I did an auction draft. Oh, so I don't know if you do this in your leagues, Brad, but we also played the second game. So you're playing the median. Anybody that doesn't know what median is, go back to school and then come back to the show. So you're playing. Sorry, that was mean. You're playing.
Fucking funny. I thought it was hilarious.
You're playing. Spoiler alert! It means average. So you're playing the average score of the league. So let's say you lose, but you had a great game. You just played the guy that had this first. You had the second best score. He had the best score. So let's say you score 130 and the average was 99. So you went 0-1 for losing, but then you went and you beat the average. So you actually went 1-1.
And that's every week?
Every week. Everybody plays that way. So you're playing two games essentially.
Yeah.
One against your opponent and the other one against the whole league.
Yeah. I like that. That's cool.
So it's different. I've never done it that way.
I've never been a part of a league like
The
that either.
commissioner in our league was like, "Do you guys want to do this or not?" And I'm like, "Look, it's the first year. Let's try it.
Yeah. If you're gonna do it, the first year is the best day.
Do it the first year because I don't want to not do it and get used to not doing it. And then it's like, now we got to throw this in there."
Correct. I agree.
So I honestly kind of like it.
Yeah.
Now if you're not scoring above the league average, you may be thinking differently.
Yeah. But the beauty of it too, though, is if you have a bad week, right? And if you have a bad week and yet you're still able to pull it out, they're not rewarding you for being the tallest midget, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get your 1-0 for the win because you beat the guy who scored the least amount of points, but you didn't beat the average. I mean, you shouldn't. It's a victory nonetheless, but I do think that's cool. I think what it does is it levels the playing field for all of those times, and every one of us has been there where you finish in the top 3 or 4 in points, but you finish like maybe 6 and 8. And so it's just one of those situations where it just makes it more and more difficult for people to be like, God, I was right there. I had so many points, but I just ran up against the, buzzsaw every week.
Yeah. Well, I've ran into this into fantasy football.
Yeah.
Or in leagues where I would like always play everybody's best game.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, I still missed the playoffs. And I had most points for and most points against.
Mm-hmm. I've been there.
And missed the playoff.
I did not miss the playoffs when that happened to me, but I have been most points for and most points against.
Yeah. So it kind of evens the playing field a little bit because you still rocked,
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, you were playing against people that were playing their best game.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't miss it by much. It was just a game. Like I just barely missed it, but it was weird because the way they did the brackets, it was 1 week and they only did it was a 12-man league. And this was when we were first starting all those years ago, but they only did like the top 4 teams. So out of 12 teams, it's like, come on, you got to open that up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to expand it. Like the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
Going to 8 sucks though. Or no, going to 12. Sorry, 12.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But yeah, so
nice. Well, yeah, it sounds exciting. I mean, that'd be a fun thing to try. I agree. I think it was smart doing it that way.
Yeah. Do you ever do any DFS?
Back in the day, when I say back in the day, a few years ago, got into a little DFS, which is daily fantasy scoring, where you basically draft players for the week, or like for Thursday night, you would draft just Dolphins and just Bengals players. You try and set the best lineup you can, and then you go up against everybody else.
Cap.
Yeah, and then it's based on you have a cap. So say your cap is 100 points. Everybody has a value, and you build it that way. Anyways, I have done it before. I love fantasy football. I absolutely do. I love playing. I miss the competition, the shit talking, the back and forth, but you and I play each other this week, right? We're going to do a lot of shit talking between now and Sunday. And then whoever wins is going to do even more shit talking come, Monday night.
Yes.
So it's, I missed that with it. And then on top of that, I just kind of got to the point where I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to jump in like the big pools, right? I want to try and win the, $1 million prizes or whatever. You risk $1 and you try and win $1 million.
Yeah.
And it just, you had 445 people all with the same team. And I felt like, and I cannot confirm this, but I just felt like you ran up against a lot of people, or I'm going to call them bots. Basically, they just went in there and they set lineups up, and they had all of these algorithms, and they just set a ton of lineups up. And this might be lineup one of like 55 that they had out there. And I'm like, I'm just trying to set one lineup. I would love to do it with like a group of my dudes, right? I would love to do it with a group of guys.
Pooling the money.
Yeah, or smaller
Yep.
format, but I have done it. It's fun, but I
Yeah.
didn't love it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When you dive into DFS, a lot of what people don't take into consideration is some of those they're multiple entries. So one person could put 20 entries in
Mhm.
and take the first top 20. I don't know. I guess I don't know how that works. But I would assume you take top 20 with your top 20, you'll win all the, whatever the prizes uh
Yeah.
for those rankings would be, you would get all of it.
Yep.
So for me, I've stayed away from multiple entry positions just because I'm not going to sit down and do 15, 20 different $1
I
bets.
wouldn't either.
Because majority of those, $5, $10 and up. So
Mhm.
I think it'd be cool to what you were saying, Brad, is like maybe look in and say, okay, let's get 5 guys and then go to somebody's house, eat the 5 guys, which is weird. That's really weird to say that,
Mm,
but it's a
mm,
restaurant. It's a burger
mhm.
and fry joint.
Maybe order
5 guys.
food from Five Guys.
There we go. Maybe I should say food before. But anyway, God. Anyways, God dang it. I was train of thought.
Oh God, now he's thinking about Five Guys
Oh,
and not the food.
bacon. Uh, so get a group of guys,
Mm-hmm.
sit in a circle. No, each throw in like $20. So you got $100 entry. See
Yeah,
what happens. I
yeah.
think that'd be cool.
I think it'd be I think that's a great idea.
Because chances are those $100 bets, unless you specifically want to do multi-entry one, a lot of those can be just single entries. So
Yeah, right.
just gotta be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
Don't think you're gonna win with $1 bet and have this amazing lineup because chances are, obviously, the chances are you're not gonna
yeah.
make it. So.
It's a lottery ticket. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
basically what you're doing. So, and that's the thing. Like you said, I'm not going to go and do it 5 or 10 times because if I'm going to spend $5 or $10,
but they do
I'm
hit.
gonna I'm gonna do. Yeah, they do, but I'm gonna do it on something that I have a little bit more control over,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go and put it on a game,
yeah,
on a spread or a total or a money line or something like that. I'm gonna do it that way. That's where I would say I find my enjoyment or my
yeah.
pleasure.
And
Um,
honestly, anybody that's new that tries to do this, or I'm sorry, anybody that's new to DFS, daily fantasy scoring, I would recommend you filter your search for what you want to do to head to head or 50-50
oh,
starting out.
okay,
Your odds are better. I mean, your one entry up to 100 other thousand entries. Come on.
yeah,
You have a better chance, especially if you know a little bit about fantasy sports. You have a better chance with the 50-50 or the head-to-head battles than you do trying to win $6.7 million off a $1 bet.
right,
So if you're in it for the long game, definitely do the 50-50 and all that, just to, especially if you're new.
yeah,
I say that's where you would want to start. Because the 50-50s, there may be, I think most of the ones I've done are like 100 people,
okay,
and the top 50 get paid.
oh, okay,
So, and if you want to know a little hack, just do if you ever want to do a head to head against somebody that just do the free bet and then Venmo them the money so you don't lose the $1.20. Bet 10, each person bets 10, but then the winnings is only 18. So
mm.
FanDuel gets $2 out of the deal. So little life hack. Hopefully FanDuel doesn't watch this.
I we have
Pat
zero
McAfee.
viewers right now, so I think we're okay.
I know. Well, it's whatever. It is what it is. So Pat McAfee, if you ever do see this, please don't tell FanDuel that we
Right.
do this. But yeah, that's my 2 cents with DFS.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have to give it a try sometime. Sweet, man. Well, I have exhausted all of my knowledge, and
You're out of beer. I know you are.
I am out of beer.
See,
I could go get another beer though. We could go on for hours. I mean, I
if
could
it
talk
was
sports and I could talk betting all day.
if it was the weekend, I may keep going, but
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that both of us have a little bit more research to do. I've got a few more plays that I have on my radar that I haven't necessarily figured out how I want to take them. Obviously, the two plays that I told you guys that I'm looking at for live value. So there are a few more that I do like out there. I think maybe we'll have a discussion and we'll try and either do a show Friday or Saturday night. Recap kind of how Thursday went with our bets, maybe how Friday went with our bets as well, because both of us are on a couple games on Friday, and then kind of preview if there's anything else on Saturday that we want to discuss. So
I do want to try doing what I did. Was it the second week
and winning
or first week, and actually win some money this week? That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, let's have it. Let's have a day. Let's have a week. Let's have a weekend.
Right.
Let's start it.
We'll do what Bob Does Sports does. We're just gonna have a day.
Have a day.
We're just gonna have a day. No, I wanted to. Yes, that's what I want to do. Anything over 9.5, I want to take the under.
There's nothing this week.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, Packers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I'm on that one already. Sorry.
I did under on 40.5.
Yeah.
May wait just a little bit, but
yeah,
I'm
40 and a half
gonna keep an eye on that. And then I'm also going to look into the weather again, because the weather thing was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was kind of something out the seat of my pants. I was like, let's look into it.
Packers defense is great. I mean, obviously I'm a homer. I'm a huge Packers fan. But that defense is playing some football right now. And yes, I think Aaron Rodgers and that team could put up 40 points, but I don't think they do. I think if they get up 20 plus, which is easily a possibility, I think if they get up 20, 25 points and it's late in the game, I think you see Jordan Love get a little bit of time just because, trying to keep Rodgers as healthy as possible. So yeah, I don't hate that. I'm already on the total. I was just looking up to see what my total was. I have 40.5 as well. So it hasn't really moved much. I haven't looked at that one too closely to see if there was a ton of movement on it. But yeah, I'm definitely playing that one for sure.
So let's see. Yeah. And so for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, so some of the games can be trap games, but there was the week I did it, there was a lot of teams that were plus 9.5 or more. There was plus 10, plus 11.5. And when you have that kind of thing happen, you either have a really good offense and then you're playing a really crappy defense. So what happens is obviously the offense gets up really, really big and then just runs the clock.
Right.
And then the other team that has a crappy offense isn't able to score. So that's the theory behind 9.5. Why it's 9.5, I can't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Facebook algorithm that nobody understands, or the TikTok to get us to 1,000 followers so we can actually do live videos off of TikTok. You have to have 1,000 followers, I think. But anyways, so I'm not quite sure why 9.5 is like the magic number. But it's been working.
Yeah.
When I went 3 for 4 that week.
And
just missed it by 3 points, I think. On some BS, but yeah.
Yeah, I went 3-1 that day as well because I obviously hit all of those. And then I actually doubled down on the under on the one miss. I don't remember what game it was. So the total got up another touchdown. So basically it went from where it was, and I'm just going to throw a number out. So say it was at 42. I had it at 42. It got up to 49. I hit the under again, doubled down on it. Yeah, and then doubled down on that. And then I got 52.5 or 53. So another field goal. and I hit that one and doubled down on that one again. I missed the first, right? Missed the second, but the third one hit. Did I like laddering like that? No. I still think the 7 points was a good play. Again, like Braden said, it was kind of a fluke thing that happened. But the 52.5 did end up hitting, so I ended up covering most of what I had thrown into my losses. So it worked out. Ended up going. I went 4 and what would that have been? 4 and 2 instead of 3 and 1. So, but still made more. Like, still ended up being able to recover what I had thrown in. So, definitely think that rebuying in that position was a smart play.
Yeah.
But don't buy in. So if it's 42, don't buy in at 45. Don't buy in at 48. Don't buy in at 49. Like, really, like, you have to be watching the game and you have to see what's going on. Is there no defense? Was there a few turnovers that led to like quick scores? Like, what's happening that's maybe throwing this score off a little bit, and then utilize that and play that to your advantage. So.
Yeah.
So, yep. Yeah, I do think that's smart. Again, Braden, that was a great call, bringing that up tonight.
Yep. I'd like to do the weather again, like I said, but I don't know.
Yeah, that one's
We'll
tough,
see.
especially with the hurricane. Never know what that's going to do, because
Yeah.
it could or could not. Because I mean, you're going to see that. You're going to see games that are the totals. I already saw one. I forget. I think it was the Carolina game, because Carolina's at home, right? Yeah, Carolina and Arizona is at home. But they're already talking about that total is just plummeting right now because of the hurricane potentially coming up. But what if it moves out? And and then you're stuck at a low total, and those two teams can score. So it's like, shit.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of question marks there. I'll probably leave the weather alone for a little while until it gets colder. Maybe once it gets colder, start looking at divisional matchups where weather's shit.
Yeah.
So
maybe another whiteout in Buffalo or New England.
Right. Sweet. Well, again, everyone, if you've joined us live, we appreciate it. As always, if you watch this video on YouTube
Or Twitter.
Or the gram of Insta, you make sure to give us a like, give us a follow, leave us comments, concerns, amusing
hit the notification bell so you never ever miss an episode.
Exactly. So follow us at follow us at Ballin Out Plus. You can also check out our website, which is scrolling across the bottom there at www.ballinoutplus.com, where we have all of this cool merch coming up soon, or you can grab anything and everything that you might want to rep our brand. You can follow us on TikTok, myself at Ballin Out Plus Brad. You can follow Braden at Ballin Out Braden. And then email us if you have any questions. Maybe you want to be a sponsor. I'm looking for sponsorships every day. Email us at info@ballinoutplus.com. And if you can't watch the video, want to listen, Spotify, Apple Podcast are two ways that you are able to listen to the audio of this show. So again, thank you. We appreciate it. Braden?
I got to go pick up those hats now. So I just threw them. It didn't look like I threw them that far, but I kind of threw them kind of far. Kind of stayed in the air. It didn't go off. It just kept.
Yeah, you couldn't make a paper airplane to go that far, but you'll throw a hat.
Heck no. I suck at paper airplanes, man.
Me too, brother.
So, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate everybody. The whopping, well, we had maybe a couple people join us tonight, but like Brad said, I don't know what Brad said anything. No, but like he said, just go in there, follow us, see what we can do to or see what you can do about sharing our stuff just to get the content out there. And if you do want to become a sponsor, let us know. We'll be happy to sponsor your business or your gambling habits. We do have a hotline for that. It's 1-800 something. We'll have to find that number. But yeah, so thank you again, and we will catch you guys on the flippity flip.
Peace.
Peace.